Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Sasquatch Speaks. This is Sasquatch, otherwise known as Gavisas, welcoming you back once again to... I want to find something different other than dark corner of the internet, but it really is kind of the thing that fits best right now. Maybe you all can give me some ideas on something else I can throw in there to introduce this show properly. Maybe not. Probably not. It's just one of those things that's going to be bad, and I'm sorry I'm messing with the microphone again. Their arms are flying around and just bad. Anyway. On today's episode, we shall be wrapping up our, we should be wrapping up my, I would say our, but it's wrong because it's really my. So my griping session, I've had, I think, like 6 or 7 days of just random complaints about everything in the world that I think is wrong. And I was going to talk about one thing. I was going to talk about the, mostly hate, well, I won't say mostly hate, but just, just not good sort of familial relationship that I have with my sister, and now she's like the biggest antagonist in my life, and I just, there a little bit of consideration and realization that it goes against, like, well, first of all, we lack the time to explain it, and we'd have the energy and the motivation. And it goes totally against good morals to just complain about that to that extent. So, we shall be talking about, well, I shall be talking about, you all should be listening, haha. But I shall be talking about a physiological oddity, which I have taken to referring to as the harbinger of doom effect. And I know it sounds weird. But I'll explain. Okay, so I've mentioned before, on the episode, I don't remember which episode it was, but the one where I talked about, working out and, like how some of my physiology works, that I generate an inordinately high amount of heat, just naturally. I'm very well regulated in terms of, heat retention and conduction and expulsion, in fact, as I tend to affect the general vicinity around me in raising the temperature. Like my room is the one with the fan always blowing. Mine is the one with the air conditioning vent always fully open, or the window or whatever else would get my room cooler, and it is still perennially 5 to 10 degrees warmer than every other room in the house, just because I happen to be in there. That, however, is not the harbinger of doom effect, at least not all of it. That is just a perhaps an aspect or the root cause of what it is. But for many years, whether it's some sort of radiation that is emitted or a side effect of the excess heat, or if that is in fact the radiation just blowing off of me, I don't want to say make it sound like really weird. I mean, any more weirder than it already does. But I met some sort of field in the general area around me that interferes with electronics. And it's not like officially documented, but I have more than one witness that have seen this occur. How like if you're walking by a radio, or how if I'm walking by a radio, the signal drops out if I get too close to it, or Wi-Fi signals are weaker when I'm around. The craziest stuff. When we had like the old rabbit ear antennas on our TV, if I walked too close to the TV, we would lose the signal. And it was only me, because we like, is it just you or is it everybody else? And so everyone else kind of did their thing on it and touched the rabbit ears and pulled on them and everything else like that, and the signal was just fine. I got within about 2 or 3 feet of it, and the entire signal just went goodbye and just left. It was just the craziest thing. And as a result, I mean, the people on this channel, or people who have been viewing this channel for any length of time, are intimately aware of my just pervasive bad luck with electronics in general. Whether they're out of date, or underpowered, or just refusing to work, I just seem to run into electronics that just on their own merits decide they want to function in the capacities in which they were designed to. And then you introduce me into this equation with my Harbinger of Doom effect. It's a little bit, not a little bit, a very melodramatic way of referring to what this phenomenon is. But it doesn't help the situation. I mean, like I said, my phone is very out of date. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, do I really need to upgrade it? Yeah, probably eventually. But for right now, it works okay for what I need it for. And, well, usually it works okay. There's some times where it's just like, I ain't working! Bye! And just completely knocks itself out and does nothing and just shuts down automatically while I'm right in the middle of trying to do something. It's really frustrating, but that's not really anything that's too horrible. It's a livable existence. It's like, okay, well, I'll get it eventually. And besides, right now I'm locked into a contract, which is a thing about T-Mobile, which we won't talk about because, yes, I've already complained about Comcast. I will not spend another episode complaining about T-Mobile yet. We'll do that another day. You say you're gonna do away with contracts, except for mine. Wonderful. Sorry, said I wasn't gonna do that, but I'm doing it anyway. Ha. Anyway, so my phone it needs an upgrade, but it's not really a possibility at the moment. Well, I guess it could be a possibility. I just have to pay a crap ton of money that I don't want to pay because I can just wait a couple months and not have to pay it. So yes, let's do that. Ha. Also, the computer that I use to record is not particularly the best. And, a number of other devices that I interact with are a little on the outdated side, but it's nothing like egregiously bad. It's not like I'm using an abacus or something to try and calculate. But, like I said, most of them are not, like, new, so to speak. And then, like I said, you add me to this equation. And everyone always, it was a joke for the longest time on the Triple Guard podcast. Again, links in the description to view that and a bunch of other content and people who are much more talented than I am. I don't know why I'm still telling people to go over there because they're going to leave. So on the Triple Guard podcast, it was a joke that whenever the our microwave would be used, then my signal would drop, and it does. There's a couple other reasons why it drops too, but that's Comcast. But just within the house, I mean, like the gamepad. It can be used as a second screen. You can take that to certain places. And though the range on that is supposed to be about 50 feet, I think, I could be wrong, it's supposed to be about 50 feet. Supposed to be. Because when you introduce me, I have that natural sort of interference ring around me. So instead of 50 feet, maybe on a good day, where it's lessened somewhat, I get about 15. I can barely get around the other side of my of the wall here, and just like, we're done. We thought it was a good idea to try and leave this place, but you were wrong. We're just gonna stay right there, and you have to go back in your room now because this screen does not reach this far because of your weird and freaky radiation field. I suppose that's a good way of putting it. I don't know if there's any way to measure that or test for it or find out if it's harmful. I never thought about that. It might be harmful. That wouldn't be a particularly good thing. I mean, even worse than it already is, because like I said, I can't use anything because it always just interferes with the signal. But, yeah, just one of those things. It's not like a really big problem. Like I say, it's workable. Thankfully, we don't have rabbit ear antennas. I don't usually listen to the radio. Usually if I want to get some sort of like a talk program or something, then I listen to my favorite YouTuber who actually does like an hour-long show similar to this format, which I'm completely and totally ripping off from him. But he doesn't know because I'm such a small channel, so it's okay. Good. But he does a longer, like, hour-long show, and it's really good. So I download that, and I'll listen to that, or, you know, music. I have my own preferences. I don't really like what's on the radio, yada, yada, so on and so forth. So it's not really something that directly and consistently interferes with my life. It's just one of those little things. It's like, okay, well, I could have had this. Something that's just a little bit better than what I have right now. If not for this other little caveat that's thrown in there, just to put a little fly in the ointment, so to speak, to use that incredibly outdated analogy. Just a little bit less than what it could be. And like I said, it's not something like completely egregious and going to ruin my life. It's just one of those things. It's like, hey, was this really necessary? Was this really something that just had to be included? Useful? I don't know. Eventually, who knows in the future, I might be hunted down by the police and they're using, like, sonar or radiation or something to try and track me, and, like, that will interfere with their signal and they won't see me or something. I don't know. Plausible, I guess, because it clearly does interfere with other forms of electronics, so who knows, it might be useful someday. But for right now, it's just annoying. Just enough to frustrate me to get it on this final day of frustrations. Tomorrow I have a new series of thoughts and ideas, thankfully suggested to me by one of you out there. I'll mention him by name tomorrow. There's actually a link to a channel in the description down below if you're really curious about who that was. But yeah, for right now, I think that'll do. Just getting that one last thing off my chest before we take this channel in a more positive direction. Yes, enough complaining, enough grousing, enough griping. Time to refresh and go in a more bright and sunny and cheerful and encouraging manner. Yes. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you did enjoy, a rating down below would be very much appreciated. If not, a dislike rating and a nasty comment telling me to see a therapist or a specialist about, you know, potentially giving myself radiation poisoning or something like that because of my weird anatomy. I don't really understand how it works. I probably don't want to know how it works because it would probably scare the crap out of me, even more than it already does. Anyway, I hope you all did enjoy. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.